Brian Wright, Daily B 116. What am I talking about? I am talking about the middle is the place that brings it all together. Hey, it's Brian Wright from BrianWright732.com and fitin.com, PHITIN.com. And what is this middle place I'm talking about? Okay, so I've worked in large retail companies. I've worked in a lot of different businesses. I've built a lot of different businesses. I currently own multiple businesses. And one of the main things that you understand is that in time you start to figure this out, that there's this middle spot that's in between the infrastructure of the company and then the consumer base. And that middle spot is the key to the success, especially if you have workers on the front line dealing with consumers. If your infrastructure, like if you're the CEO of your company and you're dealing directly with your customers, this won't matter. But as you scale and grow, this is where it's really important. So if you have a corporate situation or a structured company situation, then you have people that are on a front line for you, either in a brick and mortar storefront, on the phones, salespeople, whatever, that are in between you and the consumer. So if you have a company where the company creates a product, develops a service, is the mental property, whatever, and then you have a force of people that introduce that and sell it to the consumer base, the intermediary person between your sales force and your corporate structure is probably the key person that a lot of us ignore or we skip over because we don't want the payroll or we don't realize the necessity of it. One thing is that the people that are dealing with the consumer have a very different stress and strain than people that are just dealing with the sales team. So the corporate people that are dealing with the sales team that are completely unrelenting and are not giving them the support that they need to create the sales and are just worried about covering their own ass creates a situation where the sales are not going to be achieved. You get like this negative relationship between upper and lower management, and it becomes a problem. And I've seen this in so many businesses where you've got to run your company from the front door to the back door, not the back door to the front door. Meaning, if you're running it from the president down, there's a problem there. Because when you're at the top and you're removed from the front line, you absolutely have a different view and you can lose the empathy of what's necessary to close a sale because you're so worried with the operations and the running of the company, and you're balancing the checkbook and making sure the goods come in and the goods go out, or the systems are being built or whatever. You're into the minutia of structure within the company, and you're forgetting that there's a human element to every business that the company really depends upon. Without a sales team, nothing gets done. Without a positive relationship with consumers, nothing is made. The consumer needs to be understood. The consumer needs to be taken care of. You have to be demonstrating tremendous amount of empathy for the consumer. If you're not doing that for your sales team, they're not going to be able to do that for the consumer. And the worst thing that could ever happen, which is I've seen so many times for businesses that fail, is that the sales team and the consumer, they become connected, separate from corporate, where the consumer feels bad for the salesperson because it's obvious what's happening to them. And the salesperson's connecting with the consumer and looking to screw corporate by either giving discounts, giving free stuff away, basically stealing from the company because they don't believe in the company anymore. So the best thing you can do is find that middle person that can be the translator for the needs of both sides. The sales team has to understand what the objectives are and needs to understand what they have to achieve to keep the company moving forward in a positive direction. And the upper management has to understand the needs of the sales force and what their interaction with the consumer, the information that's coming back from that, and how you can shift and pivot and adjust and create the things necessary to make your company flow. That middle person that has the sales experience, that has the corporate experience, that understands the demands of both, is the one that's going to create the situation that'll produce the best consumer experience. And the best consumer experience is really what we're trying to provide. So I don't care what you sell, what you do, your relationship with the consumer is paramount. And that relationship is, based on a relationship with a salesperson as much as it is with your product or service. Your product and service you may think can sell itself, but if you don't have the infrastructure to deal with the questions, with the problems, with the demands, you're never going to fully explore the consumer relationship to create the most mutually beneficial trade possible. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So if you have a retail brick and mortar clothing store, you do have to understand that, the consumer experience is based on the look of the store, how organized the merchandise is, how, pretty the store is, how, what's the story being told by the store itself. And when you're hammering numbers and putting people in a position where they don't feel like they can get everything done, so they're just covering their own ass, you're missing the opportunity to work together to create the experience. So that's really what it comes down to, is that if you have a strong understanding of the story that you're providing that comes along with your product and service, you're going to pull your people together so that you're all working towards the same goal with the same language, respectful of the different positions, and getting that we all have to work together to create the best result. Because when corporate and sales get separated, you basically don't make the money that you could make. And at the end of the day, this is business we're talking about, so we're trying to maximize the dollars. And you don't necessarily need to maximize your dollars by cutting expenses, by eliminating positions. What you need to do is fill positions with the right people at the right time and create the right relationships so you generate the capital that you need to justify it all. So when you're failing, look at who you're working with and how you're working, instead of just looking at numbers and adding and subtracting to create the best bottom line, because you're just too lazy to interact with your people. This is everything in life is people. This is humanity. Everything is people-based. Your product, your services, whatever, it depends upon people to get made, to get sold, to do everything. So interact with your consumers best by dealing with your sales force respectfully, give them the tools that they need, give them the explanations that they need, and create an environment where your sales force respects upper management, because upper management is respecting the sales force, which is going to allow them to provide the best level of service possible to the consumer and make sure that the policies and procedures in place are completely empathetic to the customer, so the salesperson has an easier job to do. Because if you're creating happy, well-trained, motivated salespeople, but your policies and procedures are hostile to your consumer, they're just never going to be able to do their job. So you've really got to find that balance, and that really takes that middle key person so that the corporate people can corporate and the salespeople can sell and the consumer can purchase, because there's a middle guy that's translating all of this to provide the highest level of service all the way around. And then you've got a company that's got people that don't want to leave because they know they're being supported and that their ideas and their situations are respected. So respect up, respect down creates just pure respect. And a respectful company with happy employees always sells more. And that's what we're in the business of doing, selling products and services. So that's the message. Catch you later. Hey, this is Brian from the Daily Bee. Once again, I thank you so much for watching another episode, and I really would appreciate it if you could like, share, comment, do what you got to do to help me get the word out if you're finding anything interesting in what we do. And if you want to find me, you could always find me at brianwright732.com or fitin.com. I'm easy to find on social media. Send me your questions. Reach out. I'm always happy to answer. Catch you later.